Last question I want to talk about is the 14th Amendment. We just had a ruling from SCOTUS
Mhm.
about what wasn't about the 14th Amendment.
It was not.
It was
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
right. It was allowing not allowing judges to do nationwide injunctions, which I wish we had when the Mifeprestone case was happening, right? But
Yes. I could list a
wouldn't
couple
that
of
been
things like
nice?
that, right? Yeah.
But it's looking more and more like they are going to be interpreting the 14th Amendment the way Trump keeps talking about it, that it's only about children of slaves formerly enslaved and children of slaves. And and therefore anybody who is born here who is not a child of slaves is not necessarily a citizen. Is my assumption correct? Do you disagree with it? What is gonna happen, do you think, as we move forward with this?
So, I guess on this one, I still am calling other people alarmist. So, and maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I really hope not.
Okay.
So I would not agree with everything you just said about the views of the majority of the Supreme Court on whether um, the 14th Amendment, specifically the birthright citizenship clause, whether that only applies to freed slaves. Would it surprise me if Justice Thomas and Alito go along with that? Not really. But I am not convinced that the majority of the court, not even a bare majority of the court, I would take it as a gut punch if it's even 5-4. I think it's at least. I think it's 7-2, if not 9-0, will actually uphold birthright citizenship when they get to it. But they
That's
use
the
this
thing.
case as
When
a
are they gonna get
vehicle
to
for
there
everything
to
else.
it?
What?
Yeah. When are they gonna get to it?
Well, it's going to come back to the Supreme Court pretty quickly, and it's actually already in the district courts. Well, it's been there for since the beginning, and it's going to continue percolating from the district courts quite quickly up to the courts of appeals. Because what's going to happen is there's going to be some procedural maneuvers to deal with its most recent decision. So they've already have sought class class status. There's a lot of Civ Pro minutia that
Mhm.
is incredibly important um, about what's the impact of this bar on nationwide injunctions. If class actions become the new universal injunctions, then it'll be a moot, not a zero effect, but less effect. If state attorney generals still have standing, it'll lessen the effect. But if those things, which are actually being questioned by the federal government as well, are also struck down eventually, then we're going to see a real revolution. In that it'll be very hard to use the courts as a full check on the executive branch.
Okay, so you why then did they make this ruling in the 14th Amendment case? And I understand that
Yeah.
it was Trump's attorneys who did not argue the 14th Amendment, did not argue birthright citizenship. They just argued that judge doesn't have the power to do this,
Yep.
right? So in in this in states, right now judges have the power to get rid of people who are citizens because there's no nationwide stoppage. There's nothing nationally stopping them from doing that. Am I
Well, we
wrong?
have
Am
to
I too
see.
alarmist?
Hold on. Wait, let's talk again in a few weeks, like to see what
Okay.
happens with the class certification. The Supreme Court actually stayed its own decision for 30 days. So there's actually a little bit of time for this to play out before the nightmare scenarios about birthright citizenship would be real. So again, I'm a little less convinced on that because
Okay.
the reason on birthright. Let me be really clear why it is I'm still have some faith. You mentioned mifepristone, and it's a good example. Whatever else one can say about the right to privacy and the right to bodily integrity and the right to reproductive freedom, they are not explicitly in the Constitution. We have to
Hmm.
concede that, right? That's always been the legal doctrinal problem
Hmm.
on that and related issues. The Constitution is not actually very explicit and clear about very many things. So that's
Hmm.
where you get into this issue about originalism and textualism and how do we how do we find a right that seems like should really be there, like but it isn't there explicitly. The Constitution's not clear about many things, but it is clear about birthright citizenship.
Yes.
So
If you
here's
believe that the
here's
14th
our
Amendment is legitimate, I'm not sure many people on the Supreme Court believe that the 14th Amendment is fully legitimate.
well, they may not have voted for it, but it is there. So I guess that's where I think that like I think I still want to believe, and this is, remember, you're talking to a law professor.
Right,
My entire career and most of what I think about all day long is depends on the idea that laws matter, right? Because like this is really a situation where if birthright citizenship is struck down, I don't know what I'm doing. Right? I need a different skill set
right.
because like all I can do here, look, this is the Immigration and Nationality Act. This is what I live by. I hate this law, but I can read it. It's written in English. I can read the words. Classes of deportable aliens, and I can read the list. My whole profession depends on the idea that the words that I would read there matter, as
Yeah,
opposed to just If it's just I don't have any skills to offer. I don't know why we charge students tuition to learn this. Because then actually, I would say try to pay bribes or something, right? Because like that's the alternative. Um,
that's where we're moving
Hiring a
forward.
lawyer. So that's that. But I think you raised actually that what I do think is worries me, and I think is a huge error by the Supreme Court. To be there, a lot of us, myself included, think that there is actually a problem, or I should say, was a problem with universal or nationwide injunctions.
Mhm.
And I mean, we can see they hurt both sides, right? Like there are a lot of people who should have DACA right now and don't because of a nationwide injunction. Mifepristone's a good example. We can come up with a bunch of others, whether you're progressive or conservative, there's a nationwide injunction for you to hate.
Right,
So, and it is a problem. It led to a lot of foreign shopping. And there probably is a procedural issue with allowing a single judge to make such a momentous issue. However, they solved a certain problem. So what the court did, I think, now is basically create a situation where the medicine is worse than the disease was,
yes, indeed.
and they did it too, exactly as you said. Oh, now you're worried, right?
Right,
So like that is the problem, and that's where I think like a lot of the more optimistic takes on Chief Justice Roberts have often proven to be very wrong. That if he was worried about the court's legitimacy, then they would have found another case to deal with this
right.
rather than this one. This one, what it starts to look like is okay, we can't really give Trump what he wants on birthright citizenship because the constitutional text still matters, and we can't find a way around that. Um, but let's see what juice can we squeeze out of this lemon? Oh, universal injunctions, and I think that's what they did.
Okay, so, I am definitely more pessimistic about that than you, but let's come
I
together in
look,
a few
I'm
weeks.
not 100% confident you're wrong anymore, but let's check back.
We'll check back in a few weeks, and I appreciate you talking to me. Michael Kagan is a law professor at Boyd Law School at UNLV, and he's the head of the immigration clinic. He is in his office. I made this mistake yesterday, saying, "Well, you're probably not checking your school email because you're on break." And he's like, "I'm an immigration attorney. I'm never on break." So
Right.
he's in his office, and you can tell behind him that he is a man who is a glutton for punishment because, yes, that is a Mets banner behind him. So, immigration lawyer, Mets fan. I'm really sorry, Michael. You've
Thank you
chosen
very
a hard
much.
life.
Yes.
Thank you for being with me.
Oh, it's good to talk to you.